Now for chapter 2, lesson 2 of this chapter on percussion, I want to introduce you to another way to generating some interesting samples, and then in the next 2 lessons we'll be looking at how to take these samples and actually turn them into music and compose with them, kind of integrate them into our drum loops and so on. But for now we'll just keep trying to make some. So this is kind of related to the Mudpie technique that a lot of neuro village kind of people use for basses, but instead you do it for percussions and kind of try to generate interesting rhythms that way. So you can either just start with a synthesizer or start with a sampler of something. So I'm just gonna search up some old sample pack of mine or something. You can use basically any sound to do this. Let me just try to remember what I called it. I think that maybe something from here. Just anything we can kind of turn into some percussions here. I guess looking for something a bit longer. Let's maybe take these two here, and I'm just going to Control J them, Control B to bounce in place, and then just drag this onto a sampler here. So I'm just gonna simply draw a note, make this a hybrid track, this an instrument track, really won't let me, whatever. Just gonna draw a note here. I don't want to key track this. I simply want to kind of have this in the sampler here, lengthen this note, and then I'm gonna set this to, I want to set, I want to set this to textures mode. I don't really want motion for now. And then I'm just gonna freeze this and start using this as a kind of basis for generating some percussions and then later recording them into a new audio track. So I'm gonna take this track's output here. And what did I call it? And just later record this and record some different take lanes of this and so on. So let's just try to somehow use this sound to make a kind of generator for percussions, I suppose. That's my timer. Sorry for that. So let's start by maybe just randomizing some parameters of the sampler. And this is very much an attitude more than a specific set of techniques, so I do this differently every time. I basically just throw effects at stuff, throw randomization at stuff, and kind of try to move in a direction that sounds vaguely interesting and kind of cool and like something that I can chop up later. Let's make the pitch one bipolar. You can hear already, you can get these kind of interesting percussion thingies here. Make the position one slower. Maybe also randomize the grain size a tiny bit. Add a little bit of motion and move the pitch down. Maybe just 12 semitones. You can already hear it's starting to sound kind of percussive. Gonna get the kilohertz transient shaper as always. And just turn the sustain down here. I'm going to get maybe some kind of multiband dynamics here. Basically a kind of OTT effect. Then place a delay on this. And randomize the delay time here. Then probably want to turn this delay to repitch mode just because it sounds more interesting. Kind of more random, so this is going to be quite glitchy kind of sounds here. I'm going to place a limiter on this. I should have done this first. Just because this can get quite loud. You can hear how it starts off. Let's maybe use a different random here that's moving a bit more slowly because There's a bit much Doppler shift here going on, so let's make this quite slow. Move the delay time around. Add some feedback. Maybe place like a resonator bank in the feedback chain. This might get really loud and really horrible. We'll have to see about that. Interesting. Maybe. Actually not a fan of this, to be honest. No. Let's next gate this, I guess. Move the threshold down a bit. I have this setup in this gate here where I have transient shapers in the sidechain FX, so I can kind of bias this gate to open up more for transients. I actually forgot about that, but apparently I do, and I also have like a high pass filter here. So this is just something I saved as my default preset, where if I turn this transient bias up, it'll turn the attack dial up in the sidechain FX chain, which is kind of cool. So this will now open more for percussive sounds. Maybe move the pitch up again here. And now you can generate these kind of interesting percussive textures here. So maybe let's start recording here and just keep adjusting stuff. So just gonna hit record here. And just, this is gonna record to some take lanes now. And then later we can try maybe throwing in some other, actually let's just do that now. Let's just throw in some other samples in here while we've already set this up. So maybe we can like get a little bit of this here. Drag this to a new track here. See if we can get this in the sampler. No, we can't. We'll need to stop recording for that. Because it'll need to bounce it. So yeah, let's just try to drag some different sounds in here and kind of keep recording here. So record. You can hear how you get all these different interesting textures, just dragging some different sound effects in here. Just anything that might sound interesting. Maybe get a filter plus in here and add some heat. Delete this automation lane here. Different effects in here. Make these randomizers move a bit slower. It was quite quiet for some reason. I think that that's just the gate that kind of bias it more towards transients. Lower the threshold a bit. Yeah, you can see how it's not quite percussive enough. So maybe let's get the transient split. Percussive here. Solo this. And then get the gate. Bias this towards transients, get the transient shaper here. Give it some attack. Now it's starting to get a bit more interesting and percussive. So let's move the pitch around, drag another effect in here. Just whatever. Trying stuff here. This one maybe. That's kind of cool sounding. So now this is basically just storing up all these different take lanes of interesting percussive sounds that we can later chop up a bit to our groove. Let's just try a few more and then... move the order of these effects around a bit, just to see what that can kind of yield. Maybe, you know, not just trying stuff. This is not like one recipe, but it's more just seeing how we can generate these sounds and then later making sense of them. So yeah, in the next two lessons, I'll just be talking about how we can actually use these sounds to make music with them. Because for now, we've just made an acoustic mess here, we've made a synthesized mess here, and next we're going to sequence these into drum beats.